Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Wednesday, May the 6th. I'm Andrew Gagan. The local market is set for a positive start this morning with ASX futures up around 0.4%. Global equity markets were mostly higher overnight as a rally in tech stocks and positive earnings results buoyed sentiment. Although signs of an escalation in US-Iran tensions tempered gains, despite both sides of the conflict maintaining that the ceasefire remains intact. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq again closed at record highs, lifted by AI-related stocks. Intel surged on reports that Apple is enlisting the company's chip-making services and those of Samsung to produce the main processors for its devices. Apple advanced more than 2%, and among the other mega-cap tech stocks, Alphabet is on the cusp of overtaking Nvidia as the world's most valuable company, with a market cap of $4.67 trillion, as it's fueled by its AI advances and booming cloud business. And Anthropic is committed to spend $200 billion with Google Cloud over 5 years. Advanced Micro Devices, the second biggest maker of computer processors, gave a strong forecast for the current period, showing that it's cashing in on the flood of AI spending, with second quarter sales of $11.2 billion, its shares rising 7% in extended trade. Palantir tumbled after missing US commercial sales estimates, and PayPal also fell after saying it's seeing trends at the lower end of its full-year outlook. DuPont rallied after the industrial materials maker lifted its annual profit forecast. Shares of Pinterest soared after the image-sharing platform forecast second quarter revenue above analyst estimates. Well, the Trump administration maintains that a fragile ceasefire with Iran remains in place, while it pushes ahead with an operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. This, as the United Arab Emirates said it suffered a new wave of Iranian missile and drone strikes, with the US allies saying it reserved its full and legitimate right to respond. Well, US Treasury yields fell along with a decline in crude prices, the US 2-year yield falling to 3.92%, the 10-year at 4.41. Australian 3-year government bond yields fell to 4.64%, the 10-year down to 4.98%. And in the wake of the RBA decision to lift rates by 25 basis points yesterday, markets are pricing in a 20% chance the cash rate will be hiked by another 25 basis points at the next meeting on June 16th, with a 70% chance by August. NAB economists are expecting rates will be lifted to 4.6% at the June meeting, given the Statement of Monetary Policy forecast update showed higher near-term inflation and slower growth. ANZ expects that the RBA is done with its hiking, and 4.35% is the peak in the cash rate cycle. And Westpac Chief Executive Anthony Miller says more of the burden of the conflict in the Middle East will be borne by households rather than businesses as they seek to pass on rising costs. The US dollar index is up slightly on the day, the Aussie trading at 71.8 US cents. Oil prices have slipped a day after US forces launched an operation aimed at reopening the Strait of Hormuz to shipping, although exchanges of fire between the US and Iran limited those declines. Brent crude futures down around 3.5% at 110 US a barrel. Gold rose, having fallen to 1 month low in the previous session as investors assess that Middle East ceasefire. Spot gold at around $4,555 an ounce. Copper rose around 2.5%, iron ore remaining at 110 US a tonne. And Bitcoin has climbed above 81,000 US dollars. It is quiet on the data docket today locally. On the corporate calendar, Amcor is set to release results while Rio Tinto will hold its AGM. That is your day ahead. See you again tomorrow.